morning, everybody. It is Freaky Friday here on BCB Live. Drive safe, Dave, along with Buckle Up Bob. Bob, what?
Good
First of
morning.
all, awesome shirt. A little bit of color going on today. I kind of like the. Can you tell me about that sweatshirt? Is that just something you got, or is that something you got while you're on vacation?
Yeah, we got it when we went this past April when we went to Panama City Beach.
You do a lot of
Panama
surfing,
City.
do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. I just grab a shark and ride it. No, I do not surf. Can't get up on the board anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that quick pop up. Yeah. There's nothing quick about getting up anymore after a certain age. There are some older guys though that do a lot of surfing, right?
Yeah, I used to ski a lot in my younger days. It's like,
oh yeah,
I love 10 years ago, I couldn't get up after about 5 tries. I said that's it, and then we did the tubing thing, and that was fun until you fall off, and then I can't get back on the tube. So I was like, all right, sit in the boat, have a beer, and just watch.
It all
Everybody
hurts.
else have the fun.
Right, it all hurts.
Yes,
no, that's a kind of a colorful.
It is. I like it.
I think it's the new surf look. I think he's kind of sporting the new. That's kind of a. I don't know. It's kind of a good look. I'm pretty jealous.
Well, you should be.
Panama City. I like Panama City.
It is. It was really a nice thing. We went fishing in the Gulf. We went.
Oh, you did? You went on a
yeah,
charter?
we did a. Is it a catamaran? Is that the one with the net in the middle?
Dual hull. Yeah. It's got a dual hull, and then it's got a.
We took one of those out to the edge of the ocean, and then they had a thing set up where they did the banana boat, and you had all this snorkeling and all this stuff out there that we did.
Nice.
So it was
any drinking going on?
No
drinking.
You know what? I take that back. I did have a margarita on the boat.
There you go.
While we went, while we headed out.
When you mentioned catamaran on the open water, you know what? There's just something about, lean back, kicked up with your feet in the air, and maybe having one of those umbrellas on your drink, right?
No umbrellas.
Oh, you didn't like the umbrella?
No, you just don't have them out on the water. You don't want to pollute the ocean.
I like the little umbrellas. Y'all don't like the umbrellas? Producer,
as long as it doesn't fall into the ocean after I'm done using it.
Okay, whatever. They're this big, man. I'm telling you, you're throwing millions of tons of plastics into the ocean every year. And
well, wait a minute. First of all, I don't think he's doing it.
He's part of the problem, not part of the solution.
I do my best to try and minimize what I can do, but at the end, we could get into this conversation all day, but I don't think it's the best time for it.
They laugh at me because do you ever buy the 6-packs with the plastic taste? I cut each and every one of those. So
First of all, Bob, it's very important. I need to know. Did you partake of the 56-cent or 65-cent Egg McMuffin yesterday?
I did not.
I did, but producer.
Yeah. Yes. Go on.
Did you take part of the 65-cent? Let's be honest. This is a big question. This is something that needs to be talked about before we move on. I can't even move on till we talk about the Egg McMuffin.
We can move on. I needed a little bit of push there. I was like, but.
No. Did you partake? Come on, be honest. Did you download?
Oh, yeah. No, I did, for sure. So I downloaded the McDonald's app because that was the only way to actually be able to get the 65-cent Egg McMuffin.
Absolutely. And you did it.
And I did it. Apparently, I already had an account on there, and I tried to log in with my email, and it just kept saying that I couldn't use my email because there was already an account, and then I kept trying to log into it, and then it said it was inactive. I spent like 30 minutes trying to figure out this app in between going through the show and moving around. I'd glance down, see. I ended up just using my work email.
So in other words, so in other words, you spent an hour trying to get this McDonald's sandwich.
You know what? At the end of the day, is an hour of your day really worth a 65-cent Egg McMuffin? You gotta ask, because if time is money, how much money did I
don't know.
Spend
it depends.
on this?
You know what I did? I had somebody go get me one.
That does not surprise me.
Well, not everybody can be that lucky, Dave. I don't have.
Actually, had somebody go get me one, and you know what? It was just as amazing as I remember it the first time.
What's the cheapest hamburger you've ever bought at a McDonald's that you've ever paid for? So now I date you.
Wow, I'm trying to think. I'm going to say 59 cents for a hamburger.
I have paid 15 cents for a McDonald's hamburger.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Get
back
out
in
of
the
here.
day, buddy.
Oh,
in the 60s.
God.
Producer can look it up. I bet you in the 60s.
I fact check. Yep. I'm calling fake news.
I bet you in the 60s
no way.
that they were
Bob, I know you're older than the rest
less.
of us. There's no way you were there with Ray Kroc. Ray Kroc didn't even sell them for 15 cents at the original McDonald's.
They were 21 cents.
Yeah, so
okay, they were on sale. They were doing a special. So 15 cents is not.
Did you have the app in the 60s? You used the app to get it whenever you walked in.
No, there was no app.
Woo! Bob's out there trying to, but you know what? There were sales. I remember there were many times that we got burgers. Depends on. Y'all all remember that too? All beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles.
I used to have a T-shirt that said it.
Yeah, we used to have to say that. You'd get it for a discount. I think you'd get them for 50 cents. I think is when it was. So actually, pretty cool. Back in the day, kids were saying it, and pretty neat stuff. Speaking of food, and I know that's one of our favorite. There's a Chinese all over the YouTube, big news. There's a Chinese man who has banned from an all-you-can-eat buffet because he eats too much, and they have banned this guy. They said this guy can drink. Not only does he eat all of the shrimp on the plate, he gets it by the plateful, but he can drink 20 bottles of the soy milk. What's up with that? Well, I know the soy milks are in little bottles, but 20 of them.
Soy milk, first of all.
I don't. It's Chinese food. I think soy milk's a staple, right?
Soy milk's not that bad. I'm personally not the biggest fan of it, but I don't know if I can drink 20 bottles of anything, at one sitting at a buffet where I'm also eating a lot of stuff.
I'm gonna probably say me and Budweiser have probably gone the 20 bottle count on a night.
Night. Yeah, but probably you're probably talking about 4 hours.
I'm telling you, with a quarter and a small glass, I've probably been there, buddy. I probably.
Then you were drinking more than Budweiser. If you're doing a quarter and a small glass, and you were drinking something besides.
That's pretty. All you can eat. My deal is if you put all you can eat, you take yourself at risk, right?
That's right.
I mean, right, producer, right, Bob?
Yeah.
If you're an all you can eat buffet. You take the good with the bad. Nobody's giving refunds because they only eat a little bit, right?
That's right.
He's not handing out. Yeah, go ahead, producer.
And what I think is interesting about this, and I didn't even realize this before I went back into the story, so they're also banning live streamers from the buffet as well, which is interesting because there's a lot of people who are streaming themselves just eating a lot, and that's like a whole community of people on YouTube and on Twitch is just people streaming themselves or putting up videos of them eating massive amounts of food. And I guess maybe this person was also streaming themselves eating, and they're just trying to cut out people eating all their food for views and stuff on YouTube and on Twitch and all these other streaming platforms. So crazy stuff. Really weird world that we're living in right now.
First of all, you ban somebody from showing yourself eating, it's got to be China, right? It's got to be some anti-party, something wrong with it.
I don't know if that's an anti-party thing more so than it's like, hey, stop eating all of our food, please.
But they dog and cat over there too.
Well, that seems like a pretty big stereotype. I would not even.
I don't know.
But there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people, but they did. There was a big thing out not too long ago that said something along the lines of, that you can't not waste food, right? They didn't want to waste food. So the whole purpose was they didn't want, a lot of food to be wasted. But if you're eating a lot and not wasting the food, how are you going against party lines? What do you got over there?
We got Jim Jones and then Jeff Marsh on the line.
Oh, there we go. What you got, Jim?
Morning, Jim.
Should be able to unmute yourself now, sir.
Yes. Okay, you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is it just me, or did we have a safety bonus issue again?
What do you mean?
Well, the checks didn't come in. Mine didn't.
They were.
I didn't know.
Fleet message was sent weeks ago that it would pay out next Friday.
Oh, the last one I saw was the 19th.
I don't know who sent
my bad,
that, but it was not safety.
Yeah.
All right, I'll tell you what. When you get a chance, do me a favor. Contact your DM about any. You always contact your DM about any issue about pay whatsoever. That's what you should do, no matter who you work for or whatever. Make sure you contact your DM or them, and they'll get you lined up.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And Jeffrey, what do you got?
Yeah, you're talking about people getting kicked out of all you eat. My first wife, before we got together, she was rooming with this one guy. I mean, he was like a beanpole. I mean, he was real thin, and he went to all you can eat Chinese restaurant, and I mean the lady literally said, "You eat too much. You got to leave now." And I mean, he was coming in with plates in both hands and stuff, and eating and eating and eating. She come up and says, "You eat too much. You got to leave now."
And I think me and my buddies have been kicked out of an all-you-can-eat too, because we were there for a long time when we were back in the day, and we stayed, and then we're able to eat again, right? So you just hang out and then eat again. But
they have eating championships for just about every kind of food. I remember watching the big one, the hot dog eating contest.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal.
And I think there were 7 or 8 contestants there, and 5 of them were champions. Like there was the cake eating champion who eats nothing but cake. There was a pickle eating. Tacos. You name it, but if it's a food, there is a championship to consume it.
Yeah, which is crazy, and they like dip it in water, so
the bread. They don't eat the hot dog and the bread.
So it turns it back to a dough.
Yep.
Yeah, well, we also got a few more callers here. We got Donna Kaysen and then Cool Dude. So what do you guys got?
What's up, Donna?
And then Stephen Cook.
Hey, good morning. It's Frisky Friday.
Yes.
Drive safe, Dave, because it's brisk out here this morning. Woke up and it was about 33 degrees, so it's Frisky Friday.
There you go. I like that.
Y'all have a good day.
Thanks,
Be
Donna.
safe out there.
Who's next?
All right, we got Cool Dude and then
Cool
Stephen
Dude.
Cook.
What's up,
What
Warren?
do you guys got for us?
Mr. Warren.
All right, Stephen Cook, what you got for us, brother?
Hey, Steven.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hello. Okay. Hey, Donna, thanks. I thought today was Thursday, by the way. I was going to be thankful for that. Wow. Anyway, it depends on which way you look at that sign. It says all you can eat, but for some people, it may read eat all you can.
What's the difference? I mean, what's
the difference? Exactly.
What's the difference? I'll tell you what. We have a lot of fun about it. We all have gone into the buffet, and I know I love the buffet because I can get a lot of the things I like the most, and not eat a lot of the things I don't like. The vegetables I can avoid, and all the bad starchy foods and desserts I can just pile on the plate. That's probably my favorite thing about the buffet is that I can just go right. So like in the morning buffet at the Petro or something, you talk about a pile high, a mountain of bacon. That's my plate. It is. I love bacon. That's what I'll do. But I'll tell you what. What we'll do is we'll come right back after the quick break, and we'll talk a little bit about trucking. We're back. Hey, so there's some great news coming out, and I just want to touch on a few quick things. Number one, John Deere and the UAW, Bob, they have reached an agreement. So those guys are going to go back to work across the country. They have plants out of Des Moines, right there in Detroit. I know they got a couple of more around the country, but those guys are going to go back to work, which is good news.
That is great news because, I was actually a representative in a union many years ago. And nobody ever wins in a strike. You never get that money back. It's like time. You heard Sir Rick talk about once it's gone, you are out 3 or 4 weeks. No matter what you get, you still lost 3 or 4
I know.
weeks.
No, they've been out for almost 2 months, right? Isn't that right? They've been out for a long time,
Absolutely.
8 weeks or something like that.
Great news.
So they're all going back to work. They reached an agreement yesterday. Fantastic news. And another thing I saw on the article, the American Trucking Association is going to meet with Congress a lot about the new agreement and truck driver shortage, and also talking about new emphasis on educating the new drivers, right? New schools in place. And what's really fascinating is the implementation of this 18 to 20-year-old that's going to be able to get their license after a certain number of experience time. They're going to be allowing that to cross state lines, and that goes along with this new package, this new deal that they've come along, and they're going to allow this, which is very fascinating in order to get the truck drivers back into the system. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty cool stuff. I'll tell you, not only that, there's a big push. What was it, an article out the other day that allowed, tell me, do you remember, almost 113,000 new hires in trucking drivers alone? And that before the years before that, it was only around 45,000. And they're seeing this huge surge of people going to work in the trucking industry.
Well, I think that's great, and I hope that it brings in more people. And I know that young drivers are always scary. Trust me, we've all been there. And I mean, my brother just turned 17. I know young drivers are scary. But I think the more that we bring in a younger crowd into the trucking world, the more we'll be able to invest in our future with trucking. And, if you give people this experience early and really give them that trucking bug as they get going early on, we'll have more people who are going to rally for it, more people who are going to support it and want to bring in their friends and family to be a part of the trucking community. And I think it's only a good thing.
I do too, and I'm gonna emphasize this way. Some of the greatest men and women I've ever met at 18 and 19-year-old went into the military and are some of the most mature, driven, successful, and fascinating people I've ever met in my entire life. And to allow someone to start their career early, to create, and you can find fascinating, driven, successful young men and women out there today at 18 to 20. I am not afraid to go out and find those people and find them early and to go. They are there. They are ripe for the picking and for this industry. And this industry needs that kind of surge of new blood, right? I mean, let's be honest. Though there are going to be the greatest drivers in the world coming up, and they will be 18 to 20 at some point in their career. But we have an opportunity to go get them early and train them. I think it's all about training and training well. Don't you agree, Bob?
I do. I really agree. And kind of where I think the focus of these autonomous vehicles should be is put these young people in there where they've got all the safety features, but they learn the craft and they see some of the things when it's going to happen. And then when they get in a truck with all the new safety technology, it's not going to scare them. It's not going to catch them off guard because they've been riding in it. So I agree with you. Everything, it's the supply chain, right? We don't have any new good drivers in the supply chain really out there, and we need to get that whatever it takes. And 113,000 is huge. That's a big, because what is it, about 100,000 driver shortage right now?
Yeah,
give or take.
And there's a lot of people moving into the industry, which and there were some articles, and I can't wait for you to get one about women coming into trucking, which is fascinating in and of itself. How successful they're being coming into the industry, and the desire for them to come in and be a big part of what's going on in the future. But you know what? It's going to take all of us working hard to find great solutions. And I truly believe that as long as the training is there and we allow and understand the safety part of the aspect, and that we get the great training that's necessary, I believe anybody can go out there and do a great job if I'm given the opportunity early. Because I don't want guys that get out of high school to go find something else and have to wait till they're 21 to be able to do this job right here if there is an avenue for them to get it. And there's going to be a lot of educational places where they can go get training for free. And that's going to be a great, great thing, because there is almost an indentured servitude when it comes to first learning how to drive right now out there on the road.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, if we can train people in the military whenever they're 18 to go do stuff, we can do the same thing with a truck driver,
Yeah,
it's a different set of skills.
They have to drive tanks and airplanes and choppers and stuff like that. So I think we can find a way to allocate those resources and funnel that mindset to get those young people involved in trucking. I really want that for us. I think that's the wave of the future, and that really will make a difference in what's going on here.
Yeah, I agree. I've talked to some drivers, and they've actually gone into the simulators. And I look at that. Every transportation person has to spend hours in a simulator, right? The pilots, the captains of ships, all these people have to be in these simulators. And I think, versus watching a training video, but to be actually in a simulator where you can control some of the most dangerous. We've got the technology and the data to plug into those simulators and give these young drivers what's going to happen to them out there. The ice, the bad weather, the speeding, the tailgating, where you can set up. You can even, I believe, I was talking to one of the simulator people, and you can even set up pre-trips. So you can really train your drivers, these young guys, how to do good pre-trips so that they are the next wave of safest drivers out on the highway.
And I honestly believe the training's a big issue, but mentorship is probably one of the greatest things that we've ever done in trucking. I can honestly tell you that if you talk to about any driver, they're going to tell you who their best mentor was.
Yes.
They're going to be able to reach out and say, hey, you know what, this person worked with me. I learned the most from this person right here. I can't even imagine a truck driver in America today that didn't have some type of leadership or a mentor that helped them learn the ropes or get through this. And I think this is where we need to go. I think it works. I think it is a we thing. It's not a that person thing. It's a we thing. And I think all the experienced drivers out there at some point are going to have to get involved and be a part of training the next generation going forward. It is necessary. And we talk and listen on this show to some of the most experienced people I've ever met in trucking, and listen to what they have to say. And it is invaluable information, and to think that would be lost without giving that knowledge and that experience on to the next generation of drivers just breaks my heart. And I want that involvement, and that's why I think this show helps do that. I think what it does, it allows us to hear and listen and understand the experience that drivers have that give each and every day to each other, and that can be passed on greatly to the next generation of drivers as we move forward in this industry, because we need truck drivers. And no matter what anybody says, we need truck drivers to want to be here. We need truck drivers to want to come into this industry, to find it fascinating, to find it exciting, to find it not as just something that they can do, but something that they want to do. And I want people to be excited about coming in here. And I am really, really thankful that this part of this bill that was passed does allow for 18 to 20-year-olds getting in behind the wheel of the car and moving across state lines. It really, really makes me feel good about what's going on in that regard, and what the future of trucking can hold.
Who is your mentor?
I have a couple of them. I had an initial trainer, and I had a best friend that was in trucking and really taught me the ropes more than anything. Just worked with me and would laugh when I would call and complain, and kind of work me through some of the problems. And a steady hand always helps out in the long run. And I'm telling you, it can be that way going forward. And that's why I think the mentor program, it's not necessarily over you watching you constantly, but being able to listen and have that ability to talk it through and say, listen, you're going to get into those situations. Here's what I do. Or, you know what, I get that. And let's talk that out. And then, you know what, those kinds of things really make a difference in how you view the next day.
Yes.
And I'm telling you, but if you talk to an experienced person, they'll go, I know exactly what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, and over the years when I've talked to drivers about whatever it may be, they're really not mad at your company, right, or at the safety department. When you really let them vent and you really listen, and you start to talk to them, they're mad at the industry, right? The industry's problems.
It's everybody.
And then once most of them realize that the company doesn't like some of the rules either, and wish that they didn't have to do it.
Hey, producer, I want you to show a great video. This is going to be in regards to the phrase that pays, but I want you to see this and then tell me exactly what to do. Watch this, Bob. Watch this video. There it is. Do you see anything in the road?
Yep.
Look at that. Look at that. And wow, a few issues, problems. And look at that. What do you do? What is it you do there? I mean,
well, apparently you kill about 10 or 15 of them.
Yeah, we talk about training young drivers to expect the
Watch
unexpected.
that video again.
What do
We
you
got
do?
a problem here. We got a couple running from us here, getting out of the way. Let's run a little bit. And the wall. Oh my God.
It looked like there was a war between herding flocks, right? Because they were running at each other.
Oh my gosh, there's a lot going on there. That is insane. That should be a training video in and of itself. And because of that, and in regards to that, and in honor of that video, we have the phrase that pays. Who do we have on air, on mic, on available? The producer is actually going to be working it right now. Producer, don't give it away, but give us somebody that's ready to answer the phrase that pays.
Well, Cowboy, can you give us that phrase?
All right, Leroy,
that pays, Cowboy?
what do you got?
Leroy Reed, if you could hop on and give us that phrase that pays, sir. You should be able to unmute your mic right about now. I think I lost you there, Cowboy. Where'd you go? What you got for us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I wasn't expecting y'all to call me,
Oh,
but only thing I can say is just watch out for the ducks.
okay.
I don't get it.
All right, thanks, Leroy.
I'm sorry.
You're
All right.
good. All right,
one.
let's go. Strike
That's
one.
all
Let's
right.
do
That's
the
all right. We got one, and we're gonna keep on moving around. We got Tommy Jones. Tommy Jones, can you give us?
Oh, that's
that
as easy
phrase
as one right
that
there. What do you got,
pays?
Tommy?
You should be able to unmute your mic now, Tommy. And of course, if you cannot, you can always type it out, which looks like Mr. Tommy Jones did. Let me verify, make sure that that is the right phrase. And I gotta skip forward so I can see. And there it is. It's that time of year. Never veer for deer.
All right, that is it. And obviously, we can't hear from Tommy right now because he's typing it out. But you know what? Let's see the video one more time. Yeah. And Tommy has won $100 on the phrase that pays. I think this video right here, it's that time of year. Never veer from deer, and that means head straight into them. A wall of deer.
Wow.
That is crazy. Isn't that crazy? And the vehicle's basically stopped.
Yep.
I mean, pretty much going 3 or 4 miles an hour.
Man. But I didn't see him veer.
Huh?
I didn't see that driver veer.
Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go?
Great job not veering away from the deer.
Where are you going to go? There's a wall.
As I said, you had the ditch.
You know, have you ever hit a deer?
Yes, a little buck.
On your car?
My pickup truck.
Yeah, did it damage, did it?
Yeah, it damaged the left corner. It was drivable. It was just a little buck, so my mother-in-law got out and threw it in the back, and I called a buddy because I'm not a deer hunter, and we dressed it out, and I got about 30 pounds of deer meat out of him.
You took a deer off the road and threw it in your truck?
I just hit it. It was fresh kill.
Okay, that's poaching, Bob. You know
no,
that,
it's
right?
not. We
Yeah.
went straight to the police department, reported it, which you're supposed to do. They issued me a deer tag and said, you're good to go.
All right, if you got a game warden to give you a tag out and you got a game warden to give you the okay to take the deer, I guess you're good to go.
That's what they do in Illinois. You just report it to the police. They'll give you a tag and, hey, this was fresh kill.
I tell you what, the Texas game warden wouldn't take kindly to that running around throwing a deer in the back of the truck.
So you're telling me in Illinois, all I got to do is just be like, oh no, I accidentally hit this. Don't look at the bullet hole. But I think it was just like that when I found it.
Well, he did come out and look at my truck and seen the deer hair and the damage on the truck, and then looked at the little button buck and said, okay, there was no gun holes.
Yeah, that's a bummer. You know what? You got to be careful. All right, everybody, what we'll do is we'll be back in just a minute with safety with Buckle Up Bob and Dale to go over safety. Hey, everybody, we'll see you in a few minutes.
You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now, 21% of record freight being rejected. News over the UK, they have the Army personnel getting ready to start driving the fuel trucks. Weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob.
And most importantly, safety.
You can do many things to communicate that you are slowing down. You can flip your hazards on.
Expect craziness like this on
all the time. 75% of these fatal accidents involving these trucks are with the first two, and it's the driving too fast and tailgating.
If this driver hadn't slowed down, this could have been a whole different outcome.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
Hey, good morning, everybody, on this Friday. Great job out there, all you drivers, getting through a week. We talked a lot this week about streaks. Great job. One of the things that keeps those streaks going is your patience and your space and your speed management. So we're going to get started off a little bit with some traffic. The DFW area really looks good for a Friday morning, your Friday morning commute. Even 35 here south of the loop looks good. The entire loop looks great around DFW, very minimal slowdowns. And even 30, which is usually horrible, has just a few spots. And over on Dallas, the 635 loop looks pretty good as well. A little bit on the northbound side here, up around Mesquite, you can see some delays there. You might see some 15 to 20-minute delays in the Mesquite area on the north east side of the 635 loop. Otherwise, Dallas looks good, the DFW area this morning. As we move to Kansas City, right, we're always shocked if there's any red at Kansas City. So, it, again, looks great. I wonder if that's just because the highway system's better? I mean, I know Kansas City is a pretty good metropolis. I've been there. But great job, drivers. If you're in that area, keep the speed and the space managed, and it'll stay green for the rest of the morning rush hour traffic. As we get to Chicago, wow, Chicago looks great as well. What a great Friday, folks. Hopefully we have just a tremendous day to kind of jumpstart everybody's weekend. But you can see 83, 55, 90, 88, 55, always a trouble here at Bolingbrook. There is just nothing. A little bit of traffic congestion down here at Tinley Park. But other than that, the loops look really great. Some 5-minute slowdowns there right west of Brookfield. But all in all, even the downtown area isn't all that bad as it normally is. As we move to the Atlanta area, Atlanta looks pretty good. I know it doesn't look, you see some red there, but typically Atlanta's all in red. But again, the loop looks pretty clear. Up here in the northern part, not so great. And then coming in from the west, as you approach the 285 loop, you can see a little bit of a slowdown there at about a 15 to 20-minute slowdown. And same coming, excuse me, from the east here on 20 as you head into the 285 loop in Atlanta. So again, slow down. Remember, everybody, you cannot pass through the loops unless you deliver in them. You must take the loops around the city of Atlanta. It is a state law for those that aren't aware of that. Wow, man. Did you go in here and doctor this at all, producer?
I may have done something.
I was going to say, what's it? You're welcome, everybody. Sir Rick says, Buckle up, Bob brings you the good weather, and now I guess I'm bringing you good traffic. This is the best I've ever seen the Philadelphia area. Yes, you still got the 276 and 76 Turnpike, but it's not near as bad as it normally is. A little bit over here by Medea. The New Jersey side looks great. Even 95, 295 coming along the river. Just a little bit slow down here below Cheltenham. But Philadelphia, folks, let's keep that speed and space out there and pack your patience, because if you do that, it's going to be a great morning commute for you in the Philadelphia area. Wow, that looks great. Nashville, always a problem down here on 24. But again, not too bad. Not as big as it normally is. Usually it's way down here. But again, we got a little bit of a slowdown as you approach the loops. Even up here at 65 and 24 merger, just a little bit of a slowdown coming into the city. But the merge point looks really clear. A little bit of congestion here right at 24 and the 40 merge. But again, you're looking at about a 15-minute delay there based on the length of the color there on the red. Nashville, you look pretty good. Wow. Man, oh man, producer, you did a great job this morning. Look at this. A little bit of a slowdown here at Parkville and Pikesville on 695, northern part of Baltimore. But the rest of the loop and even the inner city and the highways, interstates coming into the Baltimore area all look really clear this morning. I mean, I don't see anything other than the northern part that would be over a 5-minute delay. So great job there, drivers. If you're in that area, keep it up. And as we go to the D.C. area, it also looks pretty good. A little bit of a slowdown here on South Laurel, 295 coming in, but the Interstate 95 looks great. A little bit of a slowdown here just on the northern side. Of course, the inner city always looks a little bit congested, and so it's pretty bad there, but your loop looks good. Again, nothing over a 10-minute delay showing up on the loop or as you approach the loop. So really a good job there on the D.C. area. Indianapolis, we added Indianapolis here, and so you can see, again, it looks pretty good. Passing through 70 looks great. The loop looks pretty good. A little bit down here by Beech Grove. And then right here at the northern part there on 37, merge point, you might have a little bit of a congestion problem. But all in all, there's really nothing going on in Indianapolis. Should be a nice, safe commute this morning. Hey, we're go to our weather. Again, we knew some winds were going to kick up. They're not too bad this morning. As we go through the day, really, just Wyoming. You got the dark area there. West of Denver, you might see some. So if you're going through the mountain passes, slow it down. Oklahoma and the panhandles, you're going to see some winds up into 30 mile-an-hour gust potential. So again, it just requires a 10 to 15 mile per hour slowdown, and you should be good. Watch your loads. Of course, it depends on how heavy you are. As we go into our weekend, the weekend, look at that. Not much wind for this weekend on Saturday. And as we go into Sunday, let's see what we get. Again, not too bad. A little bit of gusts up here in St. Paul, up in the northern part, and then El Paso. I always forget the name of the city. But El Paso, you're going to see some winds starting to kick up Sunday, as in the northern part of Texas and Oklahoma. Again, we're looking in the mid to upper 20 mile an hour gusts. Very manageable. Just slow it down. And remember, no matter, just don't get locked into a 5 miles, right? Whatever you think is safe, take it another 5, and I guarantee you're going to be much more safer. Let's see what we got as far as the precipitation planning out. So here we go. This is Sunday, and we'll work our way backwards. So again, on Sunday, the Ohio Valley all the way down to Memphis and Arkansas could see some rain. It's going to be light for the most part, except through Kentucky, just south of Lexington. Looks like it could be heavy at times, and also south of Memphis. If we back up into Saturday, again, we got some snow showers up in Denver and the Wyoming area with those winds. And the rest of the country looks pretty good. Northern Idaho maybe. And this evening, there you go. Up in Montana, Idaho, if you're going home up there, you're going to run into some snow in the upper elevations. And I do believe it's going to stay, for the most part, in the upper elevations, because when you look at the next 24 hours, that one don't slide. You can see they're talking about 4 inches in the very northern part. So again, this is not going to be a heavy snow or a big accumulation. And then we'll check the temperatures. Sorry, hit the wrong temperature button. So as you can see, it is going to be above freezing. So the snow is really going to be in the upper elevations. The overnight snow is the one you got to watch as the temperatures drop. And the stuff sticks to the roads a little bit. But even overnight, you're going to be high. Boise's going to be above freezing. Salt Lake City, Denver. So they're all above freezing. So it probably is not going to be in, but just be mindful about the ice potential there as well. So looks like our weekend's going to be pretty good for drivers out there to make a little money for the holidays. Again, always check with your company. Freight is picking up for this season. Yeah, make sure that they've got it and that you get all that you can get out there. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with some safety.
laptop. Here.
Oh, I can if you want. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're on. Hey, we're on. Producer, quit throwing these things at us.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, we're welcome back. This week we've been talking a lot about the human trafficking that goes on in this country, and especially how it deals with the state of Texas. And Texas is leading the charge here on training its drivers as a partnership, and it's called TAT, Truckers Against Trafficking. So again, if you really want to just understand things to look for, and we're gonna go over some here this morning. But these are just some things on the website. But they actually will train drivers, not to get involved as far as trying to apprehend anybody, but just to note the suspicious behavior and what to look for, and then to report it. There's numbers that you can do. And so, one of the things is, the lack of knowledge of their whereabouts, right? If you're talking to somebody and they don't even know where they're at, there's a reason for that, and it could be the first sign that it's being part of human trafficking. If they are not allowed to speak, right? They're with somebody and they don't get to speak. Somebody keeps speaking for them. Another sign. You'll also see some chatter on your CB about commercial company. Is kind of the term that they like to use. Or a van or RV that seems out of place amongst a bunch of trucks, and the vehicle drops somebody off and then picks them up 20 minutes later, right? That is another sign. So again, go to there's a website called truckersagainsttrafficking.org, and you can get some more information. One of the things that I found out, which was really amazing, I had no idea. So many of you may have known it, but it was on TikTok. And originally it was credited with saving a young girl that was kidnapped in North Carolina. The report came out later that the motorist that did call the police department, the highway patrol, just read her lips that said, "Help me." But he did say that she was going down the highway and she was doing this. And so I never knew what that meant. And some people call it 540. Also, if you see somebody that writes those numbers, it is in relationship to this hand gesture that was on TikTok by a women's organization from Canada. And what it is, it's a distress signal. So if you're FaceTiming somebody and they're doing this while they're talking so that they don't draw attention to themselves, they're in trouble and you need to get a hold of authorities. All right? It really just signals the thumb is you, and eventually you're trapped and can't go nowhere. So you're being held, and so against your will. And so you need to call the local authorities, get 911, get some police involved, because this person is asking for some help. This young lady, she was 17, I believe, and when the police finally caught up with them, they boxed the guy in so he couldn't get away. She was still doing the hand signals to the police officers when they surrounded him as well. So, man, if you've got children out there, know that. I've talked to people in the office, and some of their daughters actually knew the signal. I believe that's why the women's organization went to TikTok, because the young kids are on that, and they wanted to get them. I remember growing up, we was always talked about having codes with our children. Hey, if somebody comes to the door and you're by yourself, ask them this question, ask them that question that only your mom and dad would know. And there's another one that has kind of stepped up with technology to where there is a hand signal, and it's just 540. It is a distress call, hand signal that we need to get authorities. So if you come across that, I did not know that. It'd be interesting to know how many drivers out there did know that, but look for that.
I didn't know that either, Bob. So when you shared that with me, I was just fascinated with that, that there is a distress signal and that we can help, teach that. And so the ones that aren't aware of it now know it. My daughters will be coming back for Thanksgiving, and so I'm going to ask them and talk to them, see if they both know it, because, the one travels back and forth between Mississippi State. And so, it's a good thing for her to watch it and for her to know if something were to happen. Just great information this morning.
Yeah, and especially if you're in, we gave the top 10 states, right, where there's been the most arrests. And Texas is number 3. So, again, we talked a lot about that through the week. And one of the reasons is because a lot of the major interstates pass through the, what they call the Texas Triangle, Houston, San Antonio, and DFW. Yep. And in that triangle, you have Austin, Waco, right, and College Station, right? Some of the most major colleges in the state of Texas are in that triangle. So, again, got to be on the lookout for that and know some of the signs, and again, just call 911 if you're not sure. It's best to call 911 even if you're wrong versus assuming you're wrong, and let the professionals decide. Say, hey, this person's doing this. Is this something you need to check out? And they'll make that call, but you've got to be the one that says, hey, this doesn't look right. And let's face it, I'm going to say 95 and maybe even higher than that. Most of our intuitions are right. If it doesn't look right, it's probably not, and you're probably doing the right thing. And we talk a lot on the videos, right? Call 911, get some help. Don't just capture it on video, but let's get some help and get this driver either off the highway or get him or her the assistance they need. And speaking of videos, Dale, you have a few.
Hey, let's roll into some videos here. We just see this so often anymore. It's just kind of scary. Drivers in this video doing nothing wrong, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we're going to see a car passing on the shoulder again. Isn't it crazy the number of times we're seeing that lately? And I don't know if people are just, now that there's more traffic, that they're in bigger hurry, or what the deal is. But we just have to be patient and just mind our space and our speeds, and let the crazies be crazy and back away from them when we see something like this.
Yeah, I'd love to see if the driver could see that person coming up on the shoulder, because again, one of the things we want to do is just hone our skills. And what I see when that thing goes there is, should this driver in the left lane back off a little bit? Because what if that car loses control, right? Yep. And hits that truck? They're not going to hit this truck in the left lane. They're going to hit the one on the right, but this driver's right there, and could they have been in a bad situation based on, you got an idiot already. So what if that's a loose shoulder, or he hits the edge of the shoulder and loses control, spins out in front of that truck? And again, if you don't know it's over there, absolutely, why would you change speed? But kind of always remember that, hey, think about what if, and if that thing hits this truck, do you have an out? And I don't know, it's hard to see on the left, but it's not going to be a safe out. Let's put it that way.
No. And that's interesting you said, you always have an out, because that's, we're looking at right here as we're going down this, and we see a disabled vehicle on the side of the road, and we really don't get over for it, and we don't seem to be slowing down much for it. So, I mean, because there may be traffic along that side, but what's the safest thing to do? Probably there is just to start backing off, and so you can safely move over and allow some space between that disabled vehicle alongside the road. See so many times where people just step out in front of a vehicle in front of their disabled without looking, and so we always want to slow down and give them as much room as possible.
Terrific point. Many times when drivers are telling me what happened and that they couldn't have done this, and if I do, and a lot of times I'll just ask, what happens if you just stopped or if you just slowed down? And they said, well, it probably wouldn't have happened. Yes, I understand on the interstate that, yes, the argument is, well, something could happen behind you. Okay, you can't control everything. What you can control is, you've got a distressed vehicle here at a merge point. Just slow it down. I'm not saying stop, but really back out of that.
And it also, I was going to mention, it also looks like the distressed vehicle on the side of the road looks like it's trying to start moving again. If you take a look at where the position is right here, and then if you look in the mirror as the truck proceeds, it looks like it's moving over into that merge point to get back on the highway. So this truck was also trying to move into the lane that we're in, but sees us coming too fast and just decides to go into the right merge point instead of getting a safer merge onto the highway.
Good point there.
Great point.
And yes, and again, what I do want to say is, this driver did the right thing staying in their lane. I really think the only option here was to slow it down, drop it 10 or 15 miles an hour, just to be able, because if something goes wrong, you take some of the speed out of the equation. And we already know 10 miles an hour increases by 20 to 30%, a better improvement of the situation, whatever it would have been.
Yep. Right here, we just have to learn to keep our speed and our space and our management. We get too close here, and I think back earlier this week, I think we saw one where we ran over a mattress, and so when we get this close up and we can't see if there's road debris, if there's debris on the road there, we need to have more space. And so if that car takes an evasive move and there is debris, we don't end up running over it like earlier in the week when we saw that truck run over a mattress. So we really have to focus on our speed and our space and back off when we get too close like that. This one here is a really interesting video, and I don't know if the truck's a bobtail or not, because we see the sign that says, 50 feet between track and stoplight. And so the driver is definitely slowed down here, crosses the first line where you would stop if the light was green or if the light was yellow or red, but he gets onto the railroad tracks, and that's when the light actually changes. So, if you look at, if he's only got 50 feet and he's got a trailer behind him, and he's going straight, the only choice he really has is to go. And so it's interesting to see if he has a bobtail. That's just a tough intersection right there.
Yeah, and we've talked over and over again. Since these are dangerous, and now you throw the variable of a railroad crossing, you have to slow down and be prepared to stop. I mean, that's why this driver could not stop. They weren't planning on stopping. They were planning on green light, hurry up, because you could see, watch all the bouncing. Now, you don't know, that tracks look pretty rough, so what did you do to the truck, right? Underneath, the suspensions, the tires, the rims, everything is affected because you just didn't want to stop.
Here's one, I think, tons of traffic. I love showing videos like this. He's packed his patience. He's just slowed down. He's keeping the space. Just a great job by the driver in this video of, just keeping the space, slowing down, comes to a stop. We see the pavement in between the vehicle ahead of us. So just a great job. I mean, you get in a hurry there, you go nowhere faster. And so, I mean, it's just do the safest thing and keep that space.
Good point.
And here, we talk about a lot about slowing down, moving down. Driver does a great job of slowing down and moving over for it, because I didn't really catch it the first time I watched it, but there's a disabled vehicle, that gray van sitting there. So it's really a good thing. Again, you never know when somebody's going to step out in front of a vehicle like that. So a great job of keeping the speed way down and getting over for it.
I think that was an accident. It looked like the airbag was deployed on the passenger side. So hopefully everybody was okay in that. And it was just minor, and the impact caused the airbags. So great job. Producer, we got a couple calls?
Yeah, we got Connie Tuttle and then Jeff Marsh. So what do you got for us, Miss Tuttle?
Good morning, Connie.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I wanted to say a few things. The 540, yes, I learned that this week too. Also, researching the human trafficking thing. And I didn't say this yesterday, but I did call in and report those people and got a case number. So hopefully I'm wrong, but
great job.
I did the right thing.
Yeah,
And I was just curious. I myself this week twice have had to the debris in the road in my lane. Mm-hmm. So I just flashers on, slow down, and from what happened to me, the other truckers behind me, they all moved out of my lane, so they knew something was wrong, but they couldn't see it.
That great.
But
go ahead.
The other truckers, slowing down and the flashers on. When there's something, I mean, I was down to like 2 miles an hour, so I wouldn't hit the object. And then I gradually picked my speed back up. But is there any other suggestions?
No.
You have?
No, I think you did
what
it
else
perfectly.
We should do?
Connie, you did it great. I mean, it really is. I understand.
I never have gotten a phone call about a hard break, so I don't know. I assume that's what y'all do is a phone call, right?
Yeah, if
we get a hard break.
Yeah, if there's something to learn from it. Not all hard breaks are bad. So in your case, if you got one, after the video's been watched, they see that you did everything that you possibly could. You did, sometimes there's a safe option, there's a safer option, and there's a safest option. And so we want to get to that safest. And the fact that you got down to 2, there's really not much more you could do. And you stayed in your lane, and that helped signal other vehicles behind you. So your actions created a safer environment behind you. I know sometimes that's not always true, right? There'll be drivers say, well, if I slam on my brakes, somebody might rear end me. Yes, that is true. But that odds, when you look at the statistics, them odds aren't near as high as if you don't slow down it's going to be even worse because now everybody's, if you just quickly move out of the way, they can't. And then they panic because they don't know what's going on. So great job. Flashers on, slow the speed down. You want to slow it down as quickly and safely as you can. You know, it doesn't mean slamming on the brakes all the time. If you've got time, pump them, but get the speed down as quick as possible. And yes, it may mean slamming on the brakes as well. Who else we got, producer?
Yeah, we got Donna Kasem. What do you got for us this morning?
Hey, Donna.
Good morning, Donna.
Hey, good morning. Connie, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for reporting what you witnessed. I hope you're wrong too, but thank you for not turning your head and thinking, well, you know, you're either wrong or it's none of your business. So thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, amen on that. I couldn't agree more. You know, our drivers and the drivers that listen to this show, you know, are some of the best in the industry out there. There is no doubt, and I know Sir Rick, myself, Drives to Dave, and everybody here would argue that point with anybody on the road today. And this is one other thing. I think truckers have the best opportunity to really help law enforcement to really nip this in the bud. And again, knowing that, you know, we share information so that our drivers are more educated. When you know that Texas is a hotbed for this kind of stuff, then it can spike your awareness and you're a little bit more attuned to some signals that you might have overlooked before. So great job, Connie, again. And Donna, thank you for pointing that out. Who else we got, producer?
Yeah, we got Jeff Marsh on the line. What you got for us, sir?
Morning, Jeff.
Morning, Dylan. Thanks for passing me up, but you know Donna's a lady, so I don't mind her going ahead of me.
Hey, you had your hand down, sir.
No, I took it down because you already called my name that you were going to come to me. So I just took it down that way I won't forget about it. So, anyways, no, what I was going to talk about was you was talking about watching for signs and stuff. So I don't know if you've ever watched Blue Bloods or not, but they've actually got an episode where Aaron and Nikki are out, you know, I think lunch or something like that, and there's a little girl with a man, and Nikki waves at her. You know, she's pretty, you know, she's a pretty girl and everything, and so the little girl waves back at her, and the man snaps his finger like, hey, you know, no, and so Nikki says, well, her dad's real mean, and so they leave, and the waitress comes and cleans the table, and she sparks Aaron's attention by her gasp, and she goes, what is it? And she goes, this note this little girl left. And you know, this is back when they had when the kids were given the crayons and stuff to color with, and so it was a crayon that she wrote it, and she says, help me. And so Nikki runs back out there, and they're gone. They're nowhere to be seen. And so, but that's an episode. They have an episode of Blue Bloods where that's actually happened before.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I mean, you know, one of the things to look for, restricted or controlled communication. So, again, and especially when you see that, you know, if a dad looks mean, maybe watch that. You don't have to get involved right away and upset the cart necessarily, but maybe give it a little bit more attention, right? We hope to have an officer that did just that on a routine accident, was looking at, and during her discussion with the driver, things just didn't add up. She recognized and not only did she recognize, because she said it wasn't all that recognizable, but something in her head said, things aren't right, I need to look closer. And as she did, and she even followed the lady to the hospital, and come to find out this lady was number 2 on the rung of a trafficking, and she was on her way to convince girls to get and go with her in Oklahoma City back to Houston. And so, again, just by this officer saying, it doesn't seem right, let me do a little bit more questioning, right? And then a lot of these things to look for kind of came out. And so, yeah, when you see something like that, yeah, you don't have to go run up and say, hey, are you okay? But just kind of watch it a little bit and see if there's more. Hey, folks, great week. Let's keep it going. The weekends, don't let them down. 70 days. We are at a big 7-0. Get out and look. We are at 31 on our DOT reportables. Great job, everybody. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you so much for the men and women that are out there risking their lives every day, Lord, to keep this country moving, fed, clothed, just supplying all of our needs, Heavenly Father. Lord, many times they don't get the respect they need or that they deserve. They are our heroes, Lord, out there during this pandemic. They're leaving their families. They're going into areas that they don't know what the controls are, but they're risking their lives to serve their country, Lord. And it may not be in a military fashion, but Lord, they are serving their country. And we just pray that you keep them all safe. Give them the wisdom to make good life-protecting decisions. Lord, we ask all of this in your precious Son's name. Amen. Hey, God bless everybody. Good luck, and we will talk with everybody later.